Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I have some plant chores that I need to do, specifically 2 plant chores and then maybe 3. I kind of want to make this video a long one, so maybe I'll like check up on some other stuff, see what else I have to do. The main one that I'm concerned about is this one. If you guys have been on my channel for a while, you would know I'm obsessed with my Piliflorum, but lately I feel like it's not really happy, and the reason that I say this is because this is the stem when I, first got it from import, and as you can see, it's just sort of started to like thin out, and like this is the thinnest that it's been ever. And then also look at the size of this new leaf. It's literally like my pinky is bigger than that, and usually it's way bigger than that. It has been dealing with some root rot for a while, and I think it's just been recovering from that. But a part of me also wants to chop it just to sort of experiment, because in between this leaf and this leaf there is a giant gap. Okay, so this gap right here, that's sort of where I'm looking to chop. But before I chop, I kind of want to air layer it. Yeah, all of these leaves have sort of taken a beating, even my like favorite leaf. Fun fact, this actually happened when I was doing a skit. It was in the video where I did my Syngonium plant design. In the beginning skit, when I was like, oh yeah, like my space was just making me feel overwhelmed, I actually was like, ooh, I should throw my shoe. That was the worst idea I could have came up with, because I threw my shoe. It literally, like, I was trying to aim it towards my closet because I was like, I don't care if it hits my clothes. And then I flung it off, and it hit my micans, it hit this one, it hit my gigas, like everything that it could have possibly hit, it hit, okay? And so yeah, that's how that happened. So yeah, the reason why I want to air layer it is because if I were to chop it where I wanted it to, these would be the 2 leaves going out, and this leaf in itself isn't well enough off to fully support the plant. It definitely could, like I don't see the issue with that, but I'm just scared that I might lose one of these 2 leaves when I chop it, and I don't want to do that, so I'd rather just air layer it. I'm so done with this freaking Piliflorum. I honestly kind of just want to chop it. Should I do that? Like, I even had like everything ready. I was like, I came up with a brand new idea. Look at this. No. We're done. Okay. Let's just chop this. I am gonna sterilize everything. I put my phone to charge, and then you come back to this. How in the world did that even happen? I'm not gonna make the full cut that I was planning to. Here, hello. I'm not gonna make the full cut that I was planning to. I'm not going to cut it right here. I'm gonna cut it right here. So it'll still have these 2 leaves. It just has this leaf, or the top cut will just be that leaf. So don't be scared. I'm not like making a manic decision. I still really enjoy this other leaf right here. You guys can even see the one with the rip in it. I still really like that one, so I don't want to risk any damage, but I'm willing to take a risk for that top cut, okay? Because that is a very small leaf, and I kind of just want more. I want it to be a little bit more full. I'm hoping that maybe it'll like regrow from here, like it'll activate a growth point down here instead of up here. Okay, let's do this. My scissors are sterilized. I'm kind of scared. I'm just gonna do water. Like I don't want to mess it up too much, and I think water should be okay. Something that I've actually been messing with recently with propagation is using rainwater or purified water. So every time I use sink water, or like, tap water, why did I say sink water? Every time I use tap water, I always get rot. No matter what, I always get rot. It just always, forms a cloud around it'll form like this gray, cloudy stuff around the open wound. Okay, so I am like really very scared to do this, okay? This is my baby. Maybe I should chop it this way. We did it. I didn't even count. I just freaking did it because I don't want to deal with it. Okay, this is gonna be the weirdest placement. Like, hello. Oh god. What did I just do? This doesn't even look like a freaking top cut. Oh my god. I'm kind of tempted to cut that second leaf, but we're just gonna, no, we're not gonna do that. But yeah, if you are struggling with rotting in your propagations, use rainwater. When I'm saying rainwater, like, I mean like, I was using like rainwater that had like moss and like a whole bunch of like debris in it. I've noticed that I'm able to leave my plants in the water longer too, like I don't really have to change it out. Although some plants that are more towards the bottom of the water, like if they're towards the bottom of the vessel that they're in, then it'll start rotting the longer that I leave it in there. But some plants don't even mind it, like they don't even rot and they're down there. But I think it's just depending on the plant. I think I've used like bottled water with like some minerals in it, obviously, because it's just purified, and then like complete rainwater, and then I think those are the only two that I've used. Yeah, so I think that this is gonna do great in that. Yeah, I've only recently like heard of people like saying to use distilled water for propagations. I know that like the most common way is to just use tap water, but if you are struggling with rot, another thing that I didn't even like really consider is that people might have like dirty faucets. So like the like actual like circular part that you screw onto the faucet of the sink, that could be dirty. I've tried like scrubbing mine, and I still end up getting rot. I've just gone to using complete rainwater for my propagations, or just purified water, which is like bottled water. I'm not even gonna put this in water yet. I'm just gonna leave it out to callus a little bit more and absorb some of that cinnamon, sulfur, everything that's in there. Okay. In my Brazilian rain tree, which I actually got for my job, there was a little piece of Easter cactus, I believe this was, and like my boss was like, oh yeah, just take it, you got a little freebie in there, which I didn't even notice, honestly. But yeah, I am trying to root this up. I feel like it'd be cool to have an Easter cactus. I wouldn't mind. That one did have a little flower on it too, but I just ripped it off because I was like, it doesn't have the energy to, you know, supply for that flower right now. So yeah, I just ripped that off. Y'all, this plant design isn't really it right now. This syngonium is pretty happy, but everything else just kind of sad and looks disappointed. So we're gonna take this out just because I feel like it's had its time, it's had its moment, and now it's time to kind of move on. So yeah, let's just unpot this. I'm gonna start with this one. If you watched the original video, you would have seen there was a Tradescantia up here. That thing hated it. It dried out every day, so I moved this one, which I thought would have handled it a little bit better, but here we are. And this thing is, yeah, I don't know why I decided to do this. I think that small kokedamas just don't work because they're just gonna dry out way too much, way too much. You know, things in like 2-inch pots dry out a lot, but imagine a 2-inch pot with drainage holes everywhere along the pot, like everywhere. Because that's pretty much what a kokedama is. It just allows for a lot of aeration and drainage and air. Another thing that I was thinking is that I could redo it and like add a plant that likes to dry out, which I might. I'm going plant shopping in like a week or so, so maybe I will. I don't want like a cactus. Maybe I'll do like a turtle vine, which is kind of like a Tradescantia, but it's a succulent. I don't know though. I haven't really found a color. I mean, I do like the green turtle vine, so maybe I'll do that. Kind of just feel like cutting this because I don't feel like playing with the freaking yo-yo right now. This Peru is very sad. I don't even know if the roots are like... I'm probably gonna have to stick this in some water. Okay, yeah, these are both going in water. I'm not even gonna... I don't even want to show you guys because that is just a whole other level of neglect. Yeah, I saw that it was struggling. I should have just taken the kokedama off and put it somewhere darker. I think that with the light also it just doesn't help. Now this one, I think this burl, oh no, the Burl Marks Fantasy doesn't seem too sad. I am gonna cut, okay, I didn't even have to cut it off, Jesus. If there's rot in here, I don't even want to undo this because I did want to keep the Syngonium in a kokedama and then maybe just like put the stick in here to like wrap it around. Maybe I'll just pot it up for now and do that another day because I don't feel like making a kokedama right now. Or ever, honestly. I don't like making kokedamas. I think with like being able to fertilize, it's definitely been a lot easier to make kokedamas just because I don't feel the need to put as much soil in there because I'm like, I can always supply the nutrients to the sphagnum, or to the plant, not the sphagnum. And so, you know, there's no need to really have the soil in there. If you're trying to make a kokedama with soil, I would definitely recommend using only peat moss. I think that's also where I go wrong. I feel like if you have because the way that I think of it is like the kokedama has so much aeration that you don't necessarily need perlite in your soil as long as you're giving it the right light and like conditions. Okay, why? Thank you, Jesus. As long as you're giving it the right light, it should dry out just fine. But yeah, I think that that's mainly like in every kokedama video I've watched, I've seen like people just use like straight up mud to like put it together, and it's not until I started using soil with mine that I realized why, like aerated soil with mine, until I realized why they like sort of just don't even really add aeration into the soil mix for kokedamas. So yeah, in a lot of kokedama videos you'll just see them using straight up mud, which works for the kokedama just because of all the aeration. Oh, yep. I knew you weren't happy. I was honestly thinking about moving this to water because I do have a plant design idea for my other Burl Marks Fantasy, but I was like, why not just do 2 Burl Marks Fantasies? So maybe I will do that. I'll just stick this in water. The roots aren't like dead, but they're definitely, ooh, some of them are, but oh, okay, maybe all of them are. Yeah, this thing was not happy. Okay, yeah, this one's also gonna go in water. And this little thing here seems pretty happy actually. Wow. No rot. Definitely has a lot smaller root system than I thought though. Maybe I'll just stick this in a cup with all of the sphagnum because it seems to like the moisture that the sphagnum gives it. Ooh, and then maybe I could mess with it in no drainage. I'm just gonna go with this because I don't feel like dealing with this in no drainage just because I want it to have its best shot, even though this is a plant that I literally did not enjoy on its own, but I think that the stick added in there just kind of revives it a little bit for me. I usually don't put plants in moss either, so this is gonna be the first. I think the only other plant that I have in moss, or it's not technically in moss, but it's in a mossy mix from PLHC. It's my El Choco. I hope this thing isn't drying out too much, and if it is, I'll probably just stick it in like a cache pot so that the perlite and the leca will just kind of wick up the moisture. But yeah, I think these plants will definitely be happier outside of that design just because I kind of just neglected it, to be completely honest. And that's just gonna go back in my corner. I don't even want to put like a cache pot on it. Maybe I will actually. Do you guys see this? Yeah, I haven't been giving this much light. And if anything, I think this might be a propagation as well. So maybe this video will just be all about propagation. Just because I don't have the energy right now to deal with I don't have the energy to deal with whole like rehab plants. I'm kind of just being a little bit lazy. Actually, I'm gonna, okay, let's unpot this. I had already unpotted this and it had no root growth, but I think it's just not happy. It's literally shriveled. Oh god, what if it got rot? Okay, I think I'm just gonna chop this. I think it just got stem rot, which is sad. Just gonna chop it right there. Yeah, it definitely got stem rot because all of this is just black. Like if you look in there compared to that, like it's literally just straight up black. I'll probably just stick this in water too. It's not that I don't like this plant either, like I just kind of put it in a dark corner. It has new root growth. Okay, I don't know what's going on with this plant. Maybe I'll convert this into like semi-hydro. I've kind of just been doing that with a lot of stuff. Just because I'm kind of tired of soil, honestly. Like, not necessarily tired, but just tired of the upkeep. I have a lot of smaller plants, and so within soil they tend to dry out a lot more, and so I've just kind of been moving things along to semi-hydro just because it's a lot more upkeep and I don't necessarily want to deal with that. So with this cut, I'm just gonna pluck off some leaves because this thing is not having it, and I'd rather it not like focus on the other leaves. I think this might even be a bit much, but we'll just leave, actually, we'll just leave that on there for now, and then we'll stick these two in water. I don't even, let's see this. I'm probably not going to propagate this very bottom stem, but I want to see where the stem rot sort of happened or stemmed from, because there's no opened wound. It literally just started shriveling. So let's get to there. Still black. It's hard to like show this, but it's still black on the inside. There, we're sort of getting back to that healthy tissue, but there's still some rot in there. About there. That looks okay, but I am just gonna cut one more time to be safe because I still kind of see a little bit of darker hint. Yeah, okay, that is fully healthy tissue. So I've got stem rot literally out of nowhere. Don't know what that was about. If I wanted to, I could probably stick this in like a prop box. Am I going to? Probably not. Because one, I don't like prop boxes. They're kind of annoying. I just don't like wet sticks in general. As soon as something turns into a wet stick, I'll either give it its best shot in water or with my micans. I think my micans is the only plant that I've really taken that extra leap to like try and get it to work. With my micans, I stuck it in like a perlite cup with like a no drainage vessel on the outside, so it holds in that humidity a little bit more. That's the most that I've gone for, and it's with micans, so that should tell you something. Micans are precious to me. Okay, I have an Epipremnum pinnatum albo to be exact, and it started giving me a lot of low variegation leaves, which I don't mind. Like, it's not really something that I'm fussed about, but I definitely want to have like a more highly variegated specimen, or at least some form of variegation. Let me bring it over to show you guys. I stopped for a little snack and now we're back, and this is the plant that I was talking about. This is my Epipremnum albo, and I have something that I want to talk about too while we do this, or while I sort of bring this up. So variegation, it comes in two different forms. I don't know the name of the other one. I know one is chimeric. Okay, so chimeric variegation is variegation that's unstable, so it's like an albo. And the way, I don't know if this is true, but this is sort of what I've heard from other people. Do not quote me on this because, again, it could be wrong, but when something like a Monstera albo versus a Thai constellation, the Thai constellation has a full name. The Monstera albo has the albo, and so when you can tell the difference, so like when something has albo like this, the Epipremnum albo pinnatum, the variegation is chimeric. I don't know if that's true, but albo usually means that the variegation isn't stable versus like, I don't know if variegated sits under that, you know, section 2. I don't think it does, just because I also have the variegated heartleaf philodendron, and that's literally what it's called, and the variegation is usually dependent on light with this one that I've noticed. These were the older leaves when like Jimmy first gave it to me, and then this is it under like a really bright light, unless it's like Epipremnum pinnatum marble albo or something like that, then that would sort of tell you that it's not stable. Again, don't quote me on this, I'm just sort of trying to give an example. Maybe I shouldn't word it that way, but yeah. So with this one, I believe that it is genetics. Same with like the pink princess, that's genetics. But other stuff like the Thai constellation, the Paraíso Verde, and then the Jose Bono, those all have factors that bring out the variegation a little bit more. Like with the Paraíso Verde, I know it's what is it called? It's temperature based. With the Jose Bueno, I believe it's light. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, with the Jose Bueno, I've noticed at least that it'll tend to give me more variegated leaves the more light I give it. The Thai constellation, I believe it's just consistent variegation. I don't know if it's necessarily based on anything. And then like this one that I was just talking about, this is based on light. So the more light you give it, the more white will be brought out. And these leaves, like even this one, it came out white and then it hardened off to this. So I think that when the leaf comes out, you have to consistently give it bright light and it should do okay. So with all of that being said, I kind of want to chop this. I told myself I was gonna wait until, you know, this third leaf came out, which you guys can see it's giving me a new leaf right now. I don't know if I want to wait, to be honest. This also seems like a really small leaf, and I'm not seeing any variegation. So I think we're gonna chop it. And with the albo pinnatum, I don't even know, or the epipremnum I should say, not pinnatum, but I don't even know how to see the what word am I looking for? Like the genetics on the stem, I guess. Because it has, oh, you guys can even see it. It has these really small lines. But what I've noticed with plants that have those lines, it's where, it's where the plant will send out rooting hormone. And so I don't think that that's the white, obviously not, but I know that it has it just because of the petioles, especially like on this one. You can see the white like goes up the petiole. So I know it has it somewhere along the stem, but I just don't know how to see it. Or should I just like blindly cut, or like I don't know what I'm trying to do here, I guess. And this, okay, yeah, so this top node isn't rooted in. This one just kind of hangs out freely. This one's rooted, and then the one below this is definitely rooted. What if I just chop it? Like I'm honestly thinking about just chopping it right here, leaving it on the moss pole. It'll have like its root system. I think that this one actually has its root system going down, so that one should be fine. This top one, I think I might just try and root in water. But yeah, I don't know if I can make it come back from this. I definitely have no complaints about this leaf. This leaf, I'm definitely like, okay, yeah, I think this thing is reverting. It's definitely not like too bad. It still has the like saginess going on, but I think that I also kind of want this top portion a little bit more fuller, because look at all of this mass down here. So let's do it. The only issue is I don't know how I'm going to callus over that bottom cut, especially since I just watered it. Let's just figure out the top cut, I guess. All right, so this is the top cut. And this new leaf is probably going to abort. There we have it. Beautiful top cut, by the way. Also, these aren't fenestrations. I wish they were, but it's just the leaf damage. All right, so that happened. Maybe I could get like a brush. Let's try that. I don't know how well that'll work, but I have this like detailing brush for nails. Ooh, wrong side. Detailing brush for nails. So we'll try that, okay? Anytime I leave the open wound just like on the sphagnum, it'll just slowly rot it out. So I'd rather be safe than sorry, you know. I definitely want to look up more information on the variegation, just because it can also lead to like scams, I've noticed, especially with like people making up names for plants. There was this one customer that came in and they were saying that they had ordered a Jose Bueno, and then we like showed them one of like the ones that we had in store, and this person was like, oh, like I just got one from like Florida, it's the Jose Bueno variegata, which there is no Jose Bueno variegata. Using variegata in that just literally feels like a cash grab, because there isn't actually a Jose Bueno variegata. It's literally just a philodendron Jose Bueno. I can almost guarantee that this was just a cash grab. Not necessarily a cash grab, but like it's a scam, I would say, because it's like the Jose Bueno is just a philodendron Jose Bueno. There's no variegata. So using variegata in that sense is literally just you trying to make it seem like yours is different or special, or there's a different characteristic than other Jose Buenos, which there isn't. I didn't see the picture, but from what I know of, I don't think there is. But anyways, I just got off topic. Okay, now I'm gonna chop right in between here. I'm kind of scared a little bit, just because I want this cutting to do okay. I'm pretty sure it's well rooted into this moss pool too, so man, you know what, let's just do it. We did it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why the stem like reverted in size. Maybe I just didn't like, because like this is the top cut stem, and this stem that I'm looking at right now is definitely thicker than that. Maybe I just didn't attach it quick enough, I guess. Who knows? Using variegata to get someone to think that your like specimen is different, or even like just making the names, is kind of ridiculous. I feel like it's just like it targets people who don't know as much, or like who are newer in the hobby, and it's sad. I don't know, it's just kind of like taking advantage of someone. I don't know. Have you guys like experienced any of that? Let me know down below. I don't know, I haven't seen it personally, I've just heard of it. Yeah, if you've ever been scammed that way, or like pulled and prodded at like that, I wouldn't say pulled and prodded, but it's just like they're taking advantage of the fact that you don't know a lot. There we are, that thing is propagated. Now we just have a whole bunch of cuttings, and usually I'm not so adamant about like chopping my plants, but I think ever since I got my Barinas, I've just been like chop, 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 chop. I'm honestly surprised at how much I've been propagating, but discovering that like distilled or purified water, not distilled, rainwater or purified water, makes the propagation success so much more. It's just kind of made me want to propagate a lot. I don't know if I want to do a prop box. I'm kind of still iffy on it. Just because I don't know if I'm ready to like dedicate a whole space to like a prop box, and I don't know that I have that many plants that really need it, besides maybe my micans. It would honestly just be like straight up micans, and I kind of want to be able to just like set it and forget it. Like I don't want a prop box to like sit there and dry out, because I feel like that's just not gonna work for me. Like I don't know that a like prop box that I constantly have to water is really gonna work for me. I recently went to a store nearby. They have outdoor and indoor stuff. I got some wishlist plants that I have been wanting for so long, which by now you guys probably would have already seen. But lately I just feel like my like the houseplants that I'm normally into, like aeroids, I'm kind of going the opposite, and I'm kind of going into like actual like uncommon houseplants like ivies and like cissus and like, I don't know, begonias, like just things like grandma plants, I guess I should say, because that's what a lot of people describe them as. But I feel like I've been really diving deep into those plants and like just like trying not to be so fazed by what the internet has, or like what, you know, the most, you know, popular houseplant is right now, whether it's rare or not. Like I've just really been looking at plants for their shape, their growth, and seeing what I really enjoy. Do I want to do a prop box? I don't know. Part of me kind of wants to, but then the other part of me is just kind of like, do I really want to do that? Just because I feel like my experience with prop boxes hasn't been that great. Like I've only had like a perlite prop box, and that thing just rotted half the time. Then again, like my issues with prop boxes were always due to light. Like I never had enough light to really suffice for a prop box. So like I'm looking at the spot here. Maybe I'll show you guys the spot that I'm planning on putting it in. Okay, so over here I have this. I'd probably remove that because at first I was using that for a light for this Lux X Radicans, but I've kind of just given up on it because it's a very, very blue light and I don't like it. But I was thinking about having the prop box be right here or even down here, but I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't think I'd want it right here, but I don't know that I'd want it down here either. Oh my god. And I feel like it'd be so much, like I'd be giving so much space to something that doesn't really need it, because it'd be like a prop box that's like this big and then a light, and then like I wouldn't be able to put anything in between. Or I was also thinking like, what if I just like put the light like directly on the lid of the prop box, but I don't think it's tall enough. Let me show you guys what I'm thinking of using. I have like these takeout containers, or I also, what was I just looking at? Oh, I also have this one right here. I wouldn't want to use that one just because that doesn't have a lid, but I do have this one and the lid is right there. I just don't know. I don't know what I want to do. So over here I have this. I'd probably remove that because at first I was using that for a light for this Lux X Radicans, but I've kind of just given up on it because it's a very, very blue light and I don't like it. But I was thinking about having the prop box be right here or even down here, but I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't think I'd want it right here, but I don't know that I'd want it down here either. And I feel like it'd be so much, like I'd be giving so much space to something that doesn't really need it, because it'd be like a prop box that's like this big and then a light, and then like I wouldn't be able to put anything in between. Or I was also thinking like, what if I just like put the light like directly on the lid of the prop box, but I don't think it's tall enough. Let me show you guys what I'm thinking of using. I have like these takeout containers, or I also, what was I just looking at? Oh, I also have this one right here. I wouldn't want to use that one just because that doesn't have a lid, but I do have this one and the lid is right there. I just don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I think I'm gonna put that soil in a bag and then we'll figure it out together. I don't know, I'm kind of scared. Another spot that I was thinking was right there. That's Lila's medicine. Yeah, I was also thinking that I could put the Barina underneath this and then have my prop box right there. I don't think that would be too bad of an idea, just because I wouldn't be taking up valuable storage space. Okay, so I actually changed my mind. I don't know, I just feel like putting the prop box under here is gonna look way too like crowded and just like cluttered, and I don't like that. So I think I'm gonna try and put it under here, but I don't know, I feel like a part of me just feels like I'm wasting space, and I don't like that. But I think that we're just gonna have to go with it. And I'm also just gonna use this. I don't feel like dealing with the other thing. If, you know, at some point I want to switch them out, I can do that. And right now I don't really have a lot of props either. Like I don't really have a lot of wet sticks besides like my micins. So I figured I could just, you know, put them in here for now. And I just realized my issue. I'm also kind of debating whether I should use my like already like contaminated sphagnum, I should say. I don't mean like contaminated in a bad way, more like this doesn't really have the potential to grow anymore, like grow actual sphagnum moss. I do have some New Zealand sphagnum moss that I've been saving for like whenever I could grow my own sphagnum moss, or whenever I had the right conditions to grow my own sphagnum moss. So I'm thinking, what if I put it in here with my or I keep saying my props, with my wet sticks. I'm not going to be putting any propagations in here. Anything that I can put in water, I'm going to put in water. I'm not going to keep it in here. But things like my micans that I've been sort of struggling to get a hold on, I want to put them in here so that they sort of have the right conditions to grow. And that's mainly the reason why I'm doing this. If it weren't for my micans, I probably wouldn't give a freaking flying shit. I'd probably just stick it in water and let it figure itself out. And I think my Bro Marks Fantasy might also, you know, appreciate this. So I think I am going to use the New Zealand sphagnum moss, but the only issue with that is I have to use rainwater or purified water. I do live in Washington, but we are coming close to the summer, so I'm not really going to have access to rainwater, which means I'm going to have to buy water, which I hope you guys can't hear my washer and dryer. I really hope. But if you do, I'm sorry. I don't know, I'm kind of like debating it. I also am debating like whether I should put the light just like flat on here. It does get a little warm, so I might not do that. I don't know, but then like how close is it really sitting to the light? I guess I could put something underneath it to like prop it up. Let me measure this actually. I do actually have a measuring tape, and let me turn you guys because I doubt you guys can see this. So the Barina lights are a foot long. With the cables coming out, it's probably like a foot and an inch maybe. Oh yeah, that is gonna be way too small. Do I mind that though? Maybe I could put it like slanted. Actually, you know what? I think I'm just gonna stick it down here. I don't mind moving this up. Lila's toys, there's always room for those. This could probably go on my desk somewhere. These are actually flowers that I actually need to repaint this because the sun messed this up, but these are flowers that my brother got me for my graduation, and I really liked these like wispy ones, and then I had some purple ones in here too that are actually in this one. These are also for my graduation, and I just kept them because I like how it really kept its color. And then these, I just liked how they looked, so I put them in there. And then back there, I don't even know why I'm explaining this, it's just me blabbing, but the ones back here in this bigger vase are all flowers that my boyfriend has gifted me. You guys probably can't even see, but and yeah, I don't know, I always liked doing that. Same with over by my like side table, I have like a mason jar full of plants that my boyfriend has. I think it was like the first bouquet of flowers he ever gave me, and I loved it, and so I stuck them in that vase over there. But yeah, I think this bottom level is perfect for what I want to do. I don't mind that, to be honest. And I also want to talk a little bit about why my first prop box didn't work, or like my first couple of prop boxes. I think I did like 2. The main issue was light. Light is very, very important when you're propagating. All of the conditions you give your plant when it's, you know, photosynthesizing and it has the foliage is important, but when you're propagating it and it doesn't have the foliage, it doesn't have those leaves to really photosynthesize and be able to feed off of, everything, all of those conditions, the humidity, the light, the watering, is like triple as important as it is if it were like a plant with foliage. So that's why wet sticks are always better in prop boxes. I did recently mess around with doing some propagation with wet sticks in water. Let me show you how those turned out. I was gonna bring the whole thing down here, but I'm kind of too lazy. This was a wet stick that I propagated. You can see the wet stick right here, and it actually did do something for me, which I'm really happy about. I don't know, it's kind of like it's good to know that it'll like do something and work, and you guys can see the roots. I will say this did take a lot longer to root up. Both of them did. I have another one somewhere in there too. I can see it right now, but I'm not gonna take that one out. Yeah, these definitely took a lot longer to sort of get adjusted and actually start doing something. And I don't mind that, just because it's good to know that I have the ability to, you know, put a wet stick in water. This was a Splendid, and from what I know, Splendids are pretty good rooters, so that could also play a factor. I did want to try some with the Brawl Marks Fantasy, but I think I'm just gonna throw that in the prop box because I'd rather not wait and risk it. So in this video, I'm honestly just gonna make the prop box, and then in the video that I'm doing with the Barinas, I will, you know, show it in there and like actually set it up in there. Oh right, I was gonna use the New Zealand one. This is probably like the worst angle I could get because this is all you're seeing, which is Lila's like bed. Actually maybe I can bring you more in. Yeah, I am gonna use this New Zealand sphagnum moss, and this is actually moss that Jimmy gave me like so long ago, and I've been saving it because I want to be able to grow my own sphagnum moss. And I'm happy. I don't know, these Barina lights have really allowed me a lot, and like I'm excited for like all the new plants I get to experiment with, growing in like a whole prop box, which I feel like I've never been able to do successfully because of light. Alright, I was just watching some wild fern. I just finished it up. There's literally only micans in here. I was thinking about getting my other propagations and trying to stick them in here, but I think just to be safe, if this doesn't work, or if it does, like if it does, good. If it doesn't, I'll have, you know, extras up there. So I'm only gonna keep this. I also have a backup for my Brawl Marks Fantasy. It's in my sphagnum mix up by my IKEA grow light, so that is gonna go there. All right, you guys, so this is me like weeks later. I think I filmed that in April and it's currently May, and this is the prop box now. I just wanted to show you guys it because I kind of have always complained about prop boxes looking ugly. I don't know why, it just didn't click in my head to try and use like saran wrap on like a cute vessel like this. I had this bowl sort of thing laying around and I decided to use this instead, and I just literally used saran wrap. I do have some holes poked on each side, just for a little bit of aeration. It still holds its humidity in really well, as you guys can see, and I don't know, my micans have been loving it. There's actually some micans in here that are already like really rooted, like you can see a root right there, and yeah, there's a few of them that are really rooted like that, like you guys can see that. And yeah, all of this green stuff is algae, but at some point I will start to get some sphagnum moss growing off of this. I've only been giving it rainwater or purified water. I just thought I would show you guys this just in case you are sort of having the same issue of like prop boxes looking ugly. This has definitely made me feel a lot more comfortable with prop boxes, and I don't deal with mold also. That's another thing that I wanted to talk about. I haven't really been dealing with mold, and if I do, it's sort of on the like ends that are like already dead, if that makes sense. Like in my terrarium, I have a really good example. It'll just build up like on the end of the wet stick that's like really calloused over. Yeah, I haven't been dealing with mold. I keep this right up against the Barina light, and it sits maybe a little over half a foot away from the light, and you know, they're doing fine. Some of the leaves are also touching the saran wrap, but I don't think it's really an issue. I just wanted to show you guys sort of a current update of this, and I also wanted to say that I did move the light up here. I know I didn't show myself like putting the light actually on there, but originally I had tried to put it down here, and I decided that I liked it much more up here, and I can also like display plants like this one, and you know, this just sits right behind there. I'll actually show you. It sits right back there, and you can see how far away it is from that light. I'll actually put my hand in for scale so that you guys can see how far away it is from that light. Yeah, it's been doing really good, and I'm happy with it. I also rarely ever open this up. I will literally only open it up when I want to check on the plants. I don't ever like open it up to let some fresh air in or anything. I think those holes in the saran wrap also help a little bit more with the aeration because it still allows for some good air exchange. But for the most part, I literally do not open this unless I am like trying to to see if it's rooted, or, you know, I'm just trying to check up on it, see if anything's been moldy or anything. But overall, it's all been good. I feel like this experience with this prop box has really made and sort of shifted my perspective on prop boxes as a whole. And yeah, I love them. They're so, at least this one has been so low maintenance for me. I rarely check up on it, and it's just sort of doing its own thing, which I love. And that concludes today's video. I'm hoping it was sort of long, because I know a lot of you guys enjoy longer form videos too. I still want to, you know, try and put out content that way too. But yeah, let me know how you guys have been feeling about my most recent content. If you're enjoying it, if you're liking it, anything I could do better, maybe, you know, putting out more longer videos. I definitely want to, just because I know I personally enjoy watching longer videos. Like 5 to 6 minute videos do not get me through my plant chores. It's the like hour-long videos, which I wish I could produce like hour-long videos, but I just can't. Storage-wise, it just wouldn't work. It would take a whole lot of editing, but hopefully, you know, sometime in the future I will be able to. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, let me know any new plants that you guys are getting, or any new genuses you're getting into. I feel like I'm really exploring my options right now, like ferns, orchids, Hoyas, everything in the book. Like, I'm just like exploring. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.